I have been making videos since I was 12, and it has always been my dream to have a studio that represents me. Built for efficiency, designed to spark creativity, and a place where I feel at home. It started as a small corner in my bedroom, growing to a full studio room that I built over 2 years with meticulous effort. I made a list of things I wanted in my space, which kept growing longer and longer, and without realizing, I slowly kept making a lot of it real. I always knew this place wouldn't stay with me forever, so I established one rule in the very beginning. Make everything modular. And that is what I did. I loved this place since it was my first actual studio, but I had to leave it all sooner than I had expected. Now here, I had to deal with a really weird room. It was awkwardly long and could actually be divided into two, but it wasn't, so my bed and desk had to be in the same room, which made working difficult and laziness easy. Still, I tried to make the most of it. Now this place is great as I can again bifurcate between my bedroom and studio. I wanted to make the most of this space as I plan to stay here for long, at least the next 4 years of college. So as soon as the semester break hit, I begin working. One thing I really love is the plan of having a black wall. It just highlights whatever is against it and makes the room look instantly cool. And since this was something that couldn't be undone, it required good planning. I wanted to make the room functional and divide different zones for all my interests. So I modeled the room in 3D and started plotting. And after hours of brainstorming, this is the layout that I came up with. And now it was time to put up the wallpaper. This is the wall that I plan to paste my wallpaper on. It looks pretty boring right now, and I hope to turn it into an extremely cool backdrop. So let's do this, and this is how I'm gonna sand it. So I was just working right here, cutting strips from the corner and filling this gap. And look who has come to meet me. This little guy. Hello. Such a cute little guy. Then I started setting up the furniture. But when the 3D layout was brought to life, it just didn't sit right. And then I realized that I had already figured out what worked best for me. I just needed to adapt that design into this space. So I just mirrored my work setup to be towards the natural light, and it was perfect. Now it was time to create different spaces for all the things I plan to do. Things that represent me. Running, filmmaking, Lego, and making random stuff. This cabinet is something that I've had since the very beginning, and it has just taken the shape of being my maker table over the years. It houses all my tools and unfinished projects, and some storage for my Lego bricks. To fill this awkward gap created by the pillar, I used a spare mattress, and for the remainder, something very clever. Yeah, so what I did is, I took this blind which was just lying around, and if you lean it diagonally, it is almost perfect. To make it perfect, I can put this piece of wood on top of it. I had this lying around, I don't know why I keep things like this. And while I was doing this, I noticed that there are 2 zippers over here for the mattress. So, just if I had something that I could put in between the zippers, and it would stick out just a little bit so that I could keep the second organizer over there. And I had this, which fits perfectly in there. And then this stick goes into this gap into the blind, and it creates a just barely strong enough barrier so that I can place the organizers on top of that, and it stays. And then I can place the second one in that gap there. I don't know how that works, but it works. I just had that stick lying around since a couple of weeks, and it works, which is great. And now it's time to hang up the whiteboard. This is me wondering if maybe a chalkboard would look better, but then changing my mind and flipping it over, and in the process almost breaking it. Regaining control, seeing how it would look and where I should place it.
hammering down a couple of nails and just getting it up there. And I think it looks pretty good. Now I have always wanted a pegboard, and I think the wall right beside the whiteboard is going to be a perfect place for it. So I'm gonna order one for my birthday, and coincidentally IKEA also has some crazy sale going on. So let's take the advantage of that and order a pegboard. Now until that arrives, let's continue building the other parts of the studio.
Now this is an important part as will finally make the room feel full and lived in. Now for this one, I want things related to the different zones to be where they belong and be easily accessible. I really want to design a dock for this place in the future, but for now I've just placed all the chargers easily accessible, one place to charge all my devices. This is where all the really magic happens, a place for me to work on my laptop. Primarily for filming talking heads and Lego, but also a multi-purpose table as it provides a huge surface to work on. Since this is where I'll be shooting a lot of my videos, I needed a good backdrop. So after a day of brainstorming, I decided to go with a couple of shelves and these frames. Create and solve. Some things I like to live by as a designer. This corner for now just holds a lot of miscellaneous stuff, books that I never read, a radio that is never used but looks good, and some spare cardboard. I also placed this shelf on the wall for some extra storage and to display some stuff. Right now, all the room has are overhead lights which do their job but just suck. So to make it interesting, I have these. Placing them around the room just brings in a lot more depth and makes everything look cool. I'm not a fan of this warm tone, but I didn't really have an option there. This is the place where I want my character to be showcased, the focal point of the room. But more than that, a source of inspiration. A wall that reflects the things that push me to create, to grow, and to keep building. The first thing I knew that had to go up there was my scooter. Followed by some of my artwork, and some more of my dreams that continue to grow. So that's it. Ready for the reveal? And that's my studio. There's still a lot more that I want to do in this room, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with where it's at right now. I really hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Peace.